Hello students, myself Rajiv Chaudhary, physics faculty at Matrix Seeker. Today we are discussing NTSC Stage 2nd 2020 paper of physics. Okay, so let's start from question number first. In this first question, figure shows velocity time curve for a moving object. Identify one which may be realized in practice. There are four options, four curve of velocity time graph are given and you have to find the graph which can be realized in practice. That means which can be possible. So if we take first diagram, then if we draw at this time t, then at this time we have velocity v1 and at this time same time velocity have v2. But you know that moving object at any time t have with velocity only v1, have only one velocity. So this option is incorrect because at any instant particle have only one velocity, can't have two velocities. In option second, here velocity is constant, but we know that slope of vt graph, velocity time graph slope gives acceleration. So we know that acceleration a of body cannot be infinite. But here the graph makes an angle of 90 degree with time axis, and we know that if angle is 90 degree, then slope comes infinite. So if slope is infinite at this time, but slope is not possible to become infinite, so this option is also incorrect. Next option, in option this third, there is again at any time t velocity, particle is having three velocities v1, v2, v3. At this time t particle is having three velocities, so this is also not possible. In this graph is given like this. So all the time velocity is individual have velocity, so this option is correct because in this option nothing is incorrect. So your answer will be option fourth. Next question number second, ball A and B are released towards point W from X and Z point respectively. On a perfectly smooth track as shown in figure, the ball move along the track without losing contact. What will be the ratio of speed VA and VB at point W? From here a ball A, from here a ball B are released towards W. Here ball A have velocity VA and ball B have velocity VB. Then we have to find ratio VA by VB. Ratio of velocities VA by VB. Speed, or we can say that ratio of speed VA and VB. Then at point W, if we want to find this, then we have to find that what height HA will come down and what height HB will come down. So if we calculate HA, height that ball A come from X to W, that will be 45 meter minus 27 meter, that is equal to 18 meter. And HB, height that ball B come downward, which is 35 meter minus 27, that is equal to 8 meter. So I can say that work done by gravity equal to kinetic energy at point W. So now if we do that, mass of ball A into GH of ball A equal to half mVA square. Here you will get that VA square equal to 2 into 18, that's 36. And next MB into G into HB equal to half mb into vb square. That will come out vb square equal to 2 into 8, that comes 16. So VA square divided by VB square will come out 36 divided by 16, and that will come VA by VB equal to 6 by 4, that means 3 by 2. So your answer will be option 4th. So your correct answer will be option 4th. Next is question number 3rd. In this question, a marble P of mass m lies at rest on the edge of a perfectly horizontal surface on a table of height h. As shown in figure, a second identical marble Q having same mass moving at a speed u strike it perfectly elastically. The speed acquired by marble P after the collision in an elastic collision, momentum as well as kinetic energy are conserved. Momentum and kinetic energy both are conserved. This comes with velocity, so this is before collision. We can say this is at before collision. So if we make diagram after collision, then this will be Q having velocity v1 and this is P having velocity v2. Now if I do momentum conservation, momentum conservation, then we will say that m into u plus m into 0 equal to m into u1 plus m into v1 plus m into v2, and that will come out u equal to v1 plus v2. Now if we perfectly elastic collision, that means value of coefficient of restitution belongs to 1 equal to 1, and that is velocity of separation divided by velocity of approach. Velocity of separation we will call v2 minus v1 divided by velocity of separation is u minus 0, and that will come v2 minus v1 equal to u. From equation 1 and from equation 2 we can find that 2v2 equal to 2u. Then v2 equal to u. If we put this, then v2u minus v1 equal to u, that means v1 equal to 0. That means it particle q have velocity 0 and particle p have velocity u. So our answer will be option 3rd. In this question, a block float with fraction neta e inside water when immersed in a beaker containing water and kept on earth. The beaker along with the block is shifted to the surface of moon, and neta m is the fraction of block now immersed in the water after following relation. Which of the following is correct? Then we will take example of earth and here moon. As we know, a body is floating such that some part is inside and some part is outside water. Let's assume that this density of water and this is density of body. Then upside force is buoyant force and downward force is weight, and weight equal to mg. Weight is density of body into volume of body into g equal to, this is mg, and it will balance by fb buoyant force is equal to buoyant force, that is rho of liquid या rho of water or volume of body immersed into g, that is equal to g will cancel out and it will volume of body immersed divided by volume of body, that fraction will come out rho of body divided by rho of water, and it is called relative density, It is called relative density. So as we know that on Earth and Moon, relative velocity does not change. As we know that relative density remains same. Relative density remain same at Earth and Moon. At Earth and Moon. So if relative density is same, then volume immersed divided by volume of body, that remains constant. That means neta Earth equal to neta Moon, because this is called neta on Earth and Moon in the question. So neta M equal to neta E. Your option third will be correct answer. Question number 5. The weight of an object on a plane is 2.5 times of weight on Earth. Here it is Earth and here it is planet. Weight on Earth is, let's assume W, then weight on planet is 0.25 times of weight on Earth. Weight on Earth, and it is mg, and let's assume here g is g dash, then it will come mg dash, then g dash 0.25 into mg equal to mg dash, that means g dash equal to g by 4. G dash equal to g by 4. A pendulum clock, next question is saying there is a pendulum clock that takes once every second on Earth is taken to the planet. Once every second here time period is 1 second. Here pendulum clock that ticks once every second, that means say time period is 1 second. On the planet clock would tick in every, then here t dash is asking. As we know the simple pendulum t equal to 2 pi root L by g, and here t dash equal to 2 pi root L by g dash. Then t upon t dash will come, because t is inversely proportional to root g, then it will come out g dash by g. Then t dash will come t multiplied by g by g dash. Then it will be t1 multiplied by root g is g divided by g dash g by 4. Then t dash equal to 1 into root 4, that means 2 second. So time period on planet will be 2 second. That is your option. Second is correct answer. Next question number 6. A ball is thrown vertically upward at a speed u and returned back to the thrower. There are two instants at which ball has equal kinetic and potential energies. The difference between these two instants will be. In this question said that a ball is thrown with velocity u and come back to thrower. Okay. Now it is saying at some instant, let's assume that at height h, particle is at these 2 points, particle have same potential energy and kinetic energy. Here kinetic energy and potential energy are equal at these instant. Let's assume this instant is t1 and this instant is t2. Here assume velocity is v1, here is velocity v2. As we know that at same height velocity will be same but magnitude will be different. Then direction will be same but magnitude will be same. Then it will be plus v. Then as we say this is plus v and this is minus v, because it is upside but magnitude is same. So if at these point A and B kinetic energy and potential energy are same, then half mv square equal to mgh, and from ground to this point we can say that v square equal to 2gh, and v square equal to, from equation of motion we know that minus 2gh then v square equal to u square minus v square, 2v square equal to u square, that means v square equal to u square by 2, v equal to plus minus u by root 2, v equal to plus minus u by root 2. And we know for time we know that v equal to u plus at, and in this case v equal to u minus gt, because acceleration is in opposite direction to the velocity. Then for point A, at point A, plus v equal to plus u by root 2 equal to u minus g t1. Then time t1 will come u minus u by root 2 by g, u minus u by root 2 by g. And at point B, minus v equal to minus का u by root 2 equal to u minus gt2. Then from this t2 equal to u plus u by root 2 divided by g. Then time delta t equal to t2 minus t1. Time between these instant will be t2 minus t1. Then this time will be delta t equal to u plus u by root 2 upon g minus u by root 2 upon g. Then it will come out delta t equal to root 2g will be LCM, then root 2u plus u minus u root 2 plus u. Then it will cancel out and delta t will come 2u by root 2g, that will come out u by root 2u by g, that will come out root 2u by g. So your answer will be root 2u by g, that is your option third. Question number 7. Potential energy stored in a spring when compressed by a length x is half kx square, and the force required to compress this is kx. It is kx, and k is spring constant. K is known as spring constant. The spring is placed on a floor upright, and a stone of mass 10 kg fall and hit the spring when speed of 10 meter per second. With speed of 10 meter per second, the spring is compressed by 5 centimeter. Assuming that there is no loss of energy, what is the value of k? A spring is placed like this, and a 10 kg mass hit this particle with speed v equal to 10 meter per second. Hit this spring. Let's assume this spring have constant k, and assume that this compresses by 5 centimeter. Let's assume gravitational potential energy here is 0, and particle is at this is with speed v. So point A and point B. From point A to B, if we allow energy conservation, if we apply energy conservation, then energy conservation will be like this: potential energy at A plus potential energy plus kinetic energy at A equal to potential energy B plus kinetic energy at B. So potential energy equal to mgh plus half mv square equal to half kx square plus 0, because potential energy at this point we have assumed gravitational potential energy 0, and kinetic energy is also 0. Because it will stop at this point. Particle have velocity equal to 0. Clear? Then if we solve this equation, then m is 10 kg into g is 10 into h is 5 by 100 plus half into 10 into speed is 10 meter per second square equal to half, we don't know k, and x is 5 by 100 whole square. If we solve this, then 5 plus 500 equal to 2 into 25 divided by 10 raised to power 4 into k. Now from this equation value of k will come out 4 into 10 raised to power 5 Newton per meter. So our answer will be option number third. So our answer will be option number third is correct answer. Next question number 8. A girl drop a ball from a height of 20 meter. It strike the ground elastically and return to her hand. An echo of third of a ball striking the ground is produced from a nearby cliff. The echo is heard exactly the same moment when the ball returned to the girl's hand. That means from this height 20 meter, a ball is dropped from girl's hand. Drop, that means u equal to 0. Then it will come take time t equal to root 2 h by g to come and from top to bottom and back to this. Then this will total time it will take 2 into root 2 h by g. So total time taken by this will be 2 into 2. Height is 20 divided by 10, that means 2 into root 4, that means t equal to 2 into 2, that means 4 seconds. And then ball come here, there is a sound of third. Here there is a sound of third on ground and elastically, so it will reach at this height again and time will taken by 4 seconds. And in this question there is saying that there is a cliff. Let's assume there is a cliff which is x distance from this and this, and it is saying that this sound of third is exactly will take time, that is 4 seconds. So we can say that in half time, that is from third sound to ball reaching back to its hand, time taken will be 2 seconds. And in this 2 seconds, third sound will cross distance x and speed of sound is 350 meter per second. So distance traveled by this sound will be 2 into 350 meter per second. That will come out x equal to 350 meter. That means sound will go from x distance and come back to the girl. Sound will come from this here to cliff and back to the cliff. Then it will take distance 2x in which time? 2 second time. In 2 second time, and so distance will be 350 meters. So answer will be your first option. So your answer will be option first. Next question number 9. In this question, 4 graph of 1 upon vu or 1 upon v, it is given on x-axis and it is given on y-axis are 4 spherical mirrors. Which one of the suitably for convex mirror as per the Cartesian sign convention? Then if we draw a convex for mirror, we know that 1 upon v plus 1 upon u equal to 1 upon f. For convex mirror, we know that u is negative, v is positive, and f is also positive. So if we put in this formula, then 1 upon v plus 1 upon minus ka u equal to 1 upon f. Then 1 upon v equal to 1 upon u plus 1 upon f. If we compare this by equation of straight line y equal to mx plus c, then this is y multiplied by 1, then m equal to 1 and c equal to 1 upon f. Then c is positive, that means y intercept will be positive, and m is positive, that means theta is 0 to 90. Then theta is 0 to 90, this is greater than 90, this is 0 to 90, so this can be possible. This is also 0 to 90, but in this value c is negative. so this is not possible. In this again theta is greater than 90 degree. In this C is positive and theta is 90 to 180, sorry 0 to 90, so your answer will be option second. Next question number 10. An object is placed at point A in front of a convex lens of focal length f. Its real focal length f. A lens, convex lens is there which is focal length having f. Its real image, inverted magnified image, is formed behind the lens. When the object is brought closer to the lens and placed at point B, a virtual and erect image, but the exactly same magnification in magnitude as before, is formed in front of the lens. Let f be the focus of the lens in front of it, then which of the following is correct relation? Let's assume that there is focal point f and this length is small f, we know that, and here is point A and here is point B. Here is point B. This we have assumed, let's assume u, and this let's we assume u dash. First object is here and image is formed at this place, and in second case image is formed at this place. So for m1 it will be negative minus ka f upon f plus u, but it will come as u is negative minus f upon f minus u, and m2 is positive then plus f upon f minus u dash, and both should be equal as in Gaussian, then m1 equal to m2, so we can say that f upon f minus u equal to f upon f minus u dash minus f upon f minus u upon f minus, then this will come out minus f minus u dash equal to f minus u. From this minus f plus u dash equal to f minus u. So from this equation this will be get u dash plus u equal to 2f. If you put value of u and u dash from this, that u dash is focal length minus bf plus u is focal length plus af equal to 2f. 2f will cancel out, then minus bf plus af equal to 0, then it will come out af equal to bf. It will come out that af equal to bf. So answer will be your option first is correct answer. Next is question number 11. In this question, Netra, who is a black backbencher, discovers one day the class that is unable to discuss. That means she can't see what is written on the blackboard. Details on the blackboard very well. When she visits an optician, he prescribes his glasses for her. Which of the following statements are false? Then there is a blackboard here. It is a blackboard. And backbencher, that means it is sitting at some distance. Netra is sitting at some distance. Then first option, first statement, she suffer from myopia. Myopia means nearsightedness. So he can't see near objects where the far point is nearer than the blackboard. So her far point is near from the blackboard. So option first statement is correct. A concave lens with a suitable power can help correct her vision. So in nearsightedness and myopia, the lens preferred is concave lens. Lens preferred is concave lens. So obvious सी बात है, option second is also correct. So obvious option second is correct. Third option, her eye is defective and is forming image in front of the retina. In nearsightedness, image is in eye, image is formed, this is retina, then image is formed before the retina or in front of retina. So option third is also correct, true. A concave lens or a convex lens may be used to correct our vision. As we know that in myopia we use concave lens, and in nearsightedness, and in farsightedness we use convex lens. So both lens, no, we can't say, we say this is incorrect, because both lenses can't be used for a single disease of eye. So option fourth is only incorrect, false. The answer will be your option fourth. Next, question number 12. In this question, consider three resistance R1, R2, R3 is such that R1 less than R2 less than R3. Two of them are connected in parallel and one is connected in series with the third. Which of the configuration yield highest current? As we know that here, let's assume R equivalent. Here is R equivalent, current I, and potential is battery is V. Then V equal to I, R equivalent, then I will be V upon R equivalent. So as we know, for maximum highest current yield, for maximum current R equivalent will be minimum. So for minimum we know that this will be situation. This will be situation of three resistances. Resistance of this will come, so let's call RA, and this resistance is RB. If RA plus RB equal to R equivalent, because these are parallel in parallel, and RA and RB, combination of these resistance and this resistance are in series. This resistance are in, so RA. If R equivalent should be minimum, then RB should be minimum. RB should be minimum. That means series resistance, single series resistance should be minimum, and that minimum resistance is R1. So R1 should be in series, then current will be maximum. So R1 is in series, then R2 and R3 will come in parallel. So this resistance R2 and R3 will parallel, and R1 will come in series. So answer third will be correct. Next, question number 13. In this question, figure shows three electrical appliances connected to 220 volt AC supply. What is the ampere range? What is the ampere rating, current rating of fuse? You have to find current rating of this fuse. We know that total current, if total current is I, maximum current is I, then we have to fuse current rating should be greater than I. We know that before. So we have to, if we calculate this resistance like this, that this is 220 volt and this is R1, this is R2, and this is R3. If we calculate R1, we know that P equal to V square upon R, then R will be V square upon P. So R1 will come 220 square divided by power is 110 ohm. R2 will be 220 square divided by 70 volt ohm. R3 will come 220 square divided by 1200 ohm. Then if we want to find current I, that is equal to 1 upon R equivalent. R equivalent means 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3. So we can say that V into 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3. From here I equal to 220 that is potential 1 upon R1, that means 110 divided by 220 square plus 70 divided by 220 square plus 1200 divided by 220 square, and that will come out 220 into 1380 divided by 220 square. It will come out from 1, so I will come 1380 divided by 220, and that will come 6.27 ampere. So current in this circuit I is 6.27 ampere. So the fuse wire should have current rating greater than this, and that is only one option 4. So correct answer will be fourth option. So correct answer will be fourth option. Last question of this paper, that is 14 number. A positive charge plate and a negative charge plate are kept parallel to each other at a distance of 10 centimeter. An electron is released near the negative plate. So here it is negative plate and here it is positive plate, and an electron is removed here. Electric field will be in this direction, so force will come this direction and electron will move in this direction. If electron will move in this direction, then current will be in this direction. So if I is in this direction, then magnetic field will be I is this in direction, then magnetic field will be in this direction. And looking from the negative plate towards the positive plate, we are seeing from this, and current is moving in this direction, then magnetic field will be lying is this in this manner. Then in this manner, this is anti-clockwise direction. This is anti-clockwise direction, and that is option second. So your correct answer will be second answer. Thank you.